Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my version of the 25 books I want to read in 2025. I feel like a running joke on my channel and also in my real life is that I do not finish series. I start a million series and I keep them all in a spreadsheet that I love to update. But I have series lingering from like 5 years ago. So this is going to be the 25 sequels I want to read in 2025. Now technically not all of these are sequels. They are all authors that I am kind of in the midst of like their bigger universes, or a lot of series that I started many years ago that I just want to finish. Some I need to reread the first book, and at the end I do have 3 or 4 anticipated sequels or finales for me personally. Some of them are coming out at the beginning of the year, some of them have come out in the last few months that I just haven't gotten to yet. So if you're excited to see the 25 sequels / series I hope to get to in 2025, then please do give this video a thumbs up and let's just dive in. Kicking it off with the longest outstanding series in my series tracker, and that is The Mortal Instruments. So I do need to read City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire, which I do not currently own, but in order to read those 3 and finally knock off The Mortal Instruments from my list, I need to continue on with and finish The Infernal Devices. So firstly, I need to read Clockwork Prince and Clockwork Princess before I can read those other 3 books. That will officially knock off 2 series from my tracker, the oldest series that I have outstanding, as well as another one. And I'm really excited to re-dive in to Cassandra Clare. I feel like her books are really easy to read and I always have such a good time. So 2025 will be the year that I knock off 2 of her series and will be continuing on with her universe, like the Shadowhunter universe. I would like to read the first arc in the Red Rising saga, so I do need to reread Red Rising. I read this probably 4 or 5 years ago and loved it, but it's been so long. So I want to reread Red Rising, then move on to Golden Sun, and then Morning Star, and finish off this first arc in this story. I believe there are 3 or 4 other books in the Red Rising saga, but I think these kind of wrap up at least one of the major plot lines, so I will be happy if I could read these 3 this year. A couple finales that I have on my shelves that I don't know why I haven't gotten to. First is Dark Dawn by Jay Kristoff. This is the 3rd book in the Nevernight Chronicles. I did reread Nevernight I believe in September or October, and I did go on to read God's Grave, so finally continuing with this series, and now I need to finish off the trilogy with Dark Dawn. I do really enjoy this series. It is adult grimdark fantasy, but a little bit more easily accessible in my opinion. I know that this is mistakenly labeled as YA quite often, but I would not call this YA. The only thing young about it is our female main character, but subject matter, all of that is very much adult. I also have The Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden. This is the 3rd book in the Winter Night trilogy, and I absolutely loved The Bear and the Nightingale and The Girl in the Tower, but they're just such different reads for me that I do find them a little bit intimidating. Even though they're not very long, these are very rich in Russian folklore, and we have like this cold, slow Russian setting. I don't know. They're so beautifully written. I'm fully immersed when I am reading them. I should try and fit this on at the beginning of the year. Here's where things kind of fall away from sequels a tiny bit. So I do want to finish off the Farseer trilogy. This is the first trilogy in the realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb, Assassin's Quest. I have been putting this off for so long. Just look at the size of this book. It's so thick. I can't even like hold it like this in my hand without feeling like I'm going to drop it. And yet it is only about 840 pages. But beyond the size of this, Robin Hobb is so good at characters, but they are filled with pain. These are slow-moving fantasies. You feel so invested in all the characters and the plot lines, but she will rip your soul out of your body, stomp on it, rip it apart, and try and feed it back to you by the end of this book and just leave you as a broken husk of a human. And yet I love them. I don't know what that says about me, but I do want to finish off the first trilogy, but then I don't want to stop there because I fear that then I won't delve back into the next series in the realm of the Elderlings, which is the live ship Traders. So this is a very old beat up copy. This is Ship of Magic, the first in that series, which I don't know if it really has much to do at all with our main character Fitz that is in the first book, but I do know that this series is recommended to read after the Farseer trilogy, and we have some sentient ships in here. I think the magic is going to expand in this world within this novel, and I'm really excited to continue, but I don't want to stop and stall out on the realm of the Elderlings after Assassin's Quest, so that is why I'm putting Ship of Magic on this list as well. So technically this is the first book in a series, but it's still within Robin Hobb's universe. And a similar thing we are going to be doing with Brandon Sanderson. I need to read The Hero of Ages. I've heard this might be people's favorite series finale. Like, the people that I know that have read the Mistborn trilogy absolutely love this book. But for me, Brandon Sanderson just continues to be such an intimidating author, and I don't know why. I've read the first 2 books in this series, obviously. I've also read Elantris and a bunch of his short stories as well. And it's not the size. I feel like they're not that long. I mean, in saying that, it's 740 pages. But I think Brandon Sanderson as an author intimidates me. His books are very easy to read, even as a beginner to fantasy. His writing, his prose is very easy to immerse yourself in. It's just like the Cosmere is so daunting, and this is the first trilogy I need to complete in the Cosmere in order to continue, so I want to knock this out. I've put this on so many TBRs over the years. I'm going to get to it soon. And continuing on with the Cosmere, this is The Way of Kings. I have the dust jacket off because I have it on my book cart, which is behind me, and I didn't want the dust jacket to be getting, like, you know, scuffed up. I do have the UK hardcover editions with the white, and it was getting a bit dinged up, a little bit crinkled, and I didn't want that damage to continue, so that's why she's naked. But this is The Way of Kings. Now, Wind and Truth just came out. People are losing their marbles over it, and that means the first 5 books in the Stormlight Archive are out, and that is one complete arc for this series. And I know there are 5 more chunky books coming out in the Stormlight Archives, but I do want to dive into The Way of Kings after The Hero of Ages. I might read Tress of the Emerald Sea in between as a little bit of a palate cleanser, but still continuing on with the Cosmere. But 2025 is the year that I am going to promise to dive in to the Stormlight Archives. Again, such a chunky, intimidating read, but so many people have told me that this is one of the best large, epic fantasy series, and I believe it. I know that Brandon Sanderson's plotting is done so well. I've loved his books, the ones that I've read. I just need to stop being intimidated by them. I need to add a few more easy books on this if I ever have a hope or a prayer of finishing these 25 sequels in 2025. So I am putting 4 Heartstopper books on this list. I started reading Heartstopper years ago. I've read the first volume twice. I did read the second volume earlier in 2024. This is volume 3 in my hands that I have out from the library. But on my list of 25 sequels, I have written down volumes 3, 4, 5, and 6. I was just going to do up to 5, but then I believe it was volume 6 that won in the Goodreads Choice Awards. I could be wrong on that. But that just motivated me even more to include all 4 of the volumes that I have yet to read on my list, and these should be very easy for me to get to as long as I don't get too sidetracked. That was it for the books that I have physically with me for right now. I do want to finish out the Inheritance Games series. I have The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes to read, as well as The Brothers Hawthorne. Now, I don't know if that is it for the series. I feel like maybe it's not, but once again, this is a series that has been outstanding on my list for many years because I read the Inheritance Games right when it came out, I believe. I have reread that. I read the second book. Now I need to read books 3 and 4. So hopefully I can do that. Those are YA mysteries, really fun game style. I really enjoy reading those. Are they my favorite books ever? No, but they are good for a fun time. Mother of Death and Dawn by Carissa Broadbent. Why can I not finish The War of Lost Hearts? Why can't I do it? It's taking me so long. Once again, I've read Daughter of No Worlds twice. I read Children of Fallen Gods at the beginning of 2024, and I still haven't picked up the third and final book in this trilogy. Why? There's been so many finales on this list. Why am I unable to finish series? That is why we're doing this challenge, I guess. Speaking of Carissa Broadbent, I also want to read Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, which is the second book in the Crowns of Nyaxia world. I did read, obviously, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I read 6 Scorched Roses, and next I want to read Ashes, and then I want to read Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. Right? Because the second duology in the Crowns of Nyaxia world is coming out now. I know the first book is already out, and the second one doesn't have too long until release because I just saw the cover released. So, I need to continue on with that series. Again, I really enjoyed it. Why do I keep getting distracted? And lastly are 3 very anticipated releases for me. 2 of them are already out. I just have not gotten to them, but they are 3 series that I absolutely fell in love with in 2024 that I want to continue. First, I need to read Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I read Powerless and Powerful. Absolutely loved them. This is YA fantasy. I found it so immersive. I know it's similar to other series. I've read The Hunger Games. I've read Red Queen, but it was fun nonetheless. I absolutely loved it. I have Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. I feel like everyone I hear talk about this series says her last name differently. This is the sequel to The Crimson Moth if you're in the UK, or Heartless Hunter if you are US or Canadian like myself. And I absolutely loved this book, and it's just a duology. So once Rebel Witch comes out, which I believe is in February, then that will be a completed series that, again, I can knock off my list. And I think I'm going to absolutely love that one as well. And then my favorite book of 2024 was Divine Rivals, which I know I am late to the game, but that means I still need to read Ruthless Vows, which I know people have enjoyed less, but I did see it won the YA fantasy category for Goodreads. Again, I'm pretty sure I could have that wrong, and if I do, I apologize. That just made me even more sure of continuing that duology, crossing it off my list, and I loved the first book. So many of these series, I loved the books. So why don't I continue on with them? I'm frustrated with myself, okay? So 2025, I want to read these 25 sequels, knock some series off my list. I do really need to dive through. I have like 70 plus series ongoing right now. I really need to have a look at that. I need to delete some off I am not interested in. The ones that I didn't love, the first, the second book, why do I still have them on my list? Clean that up and make some progress on that. That is my goal for 2025. I'm really excited about my list of 25. All these books I know I'm going to absolutely love, which makes me more motivated, obviously. That's enough rambling from me. Let me know in the comments below what sequels you are really excited to get to in 2025. They do not need to be new releases unless you are a good nugget and only have outstanding series where you're waiting for the sequel. That would be very impressive in my opinion, but maybe you have some lingering series that you should be finishing. Maybe you have some sequels or finales on your shelf that you have not gotten to yet. Share those with me in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!